Hello, how are you all doing? Shout out to all of my GEMS family. I appreciate each and every one of you. This is Life with Marlene, your Florida blogger. How are you guys doing? Welcome, everybody. I wanted to do tap in and to say hi to all of the GEMS. Happy Thursday. How are you doing? How are you living? You guys good? And shout out to everybody in the chat. Hi, Edward. How are you doing? Hey, Joshua. Welcome. How are you guys doing? What's up? What do you guys do today? Just chilling. Wanted to tap in with the Gems family. See how you guys are doing this Thursday. Joshua says he's good. That's awesome. I just wanted to come live for a little bit and to talk about this topic that, I was just thinking like in this world that we live in, and there's so much that happens in life, like the things that you have to go through for yourself, your own personal issues, um, family issues, relationship issues, drama, money, health issues, mental health. Just so much stuff happens to us in life, and was wondering what you guys think. Is it possible for us to stay encouraged? Is that even something possible? Because we have every reason to get discouraged. I get discouraged all the time. I go through some issues, and I think because I'm a transparent person, I'm a transparent woman, that I can say that I go through depression. I go through feelings of worthlessness. I go through, being really upset because somebody doesn't support me like I deserve to be supported, but there's nothing that we can do about those things. But it's very irritating in this life to deal with people and their personal issues, because when people have issues, it's like they bring their issues and their problems to you and make it seem like you're weird or strange because you don't want to hear about it. You don't want to get involved in the negativity and the drama and the aggravation and just the low vibes, the low energy. Just nobody has time for those things. And we see it all the time, right? It's all over. It's from the workplace, it's in families, it's in romantic relationships, it's on social media. It's so much people have issues, and sometimes, yes, some people, they really need medication. Literally, they need medication because they are not okay, whether you have been diagnosed or not. Some people need medication so that they can be okay, because I get tired of dealing with people. And sometimes you don't always want to be the good person. You don't always want to be the nice person, the positive person, the person who always turns the other cheek. Sometimes I don't be on that time. You have your moments where you just want to just slap somebody across their face, or you just wanna shake somebody up and like, what is wrong with you? But when you know better, you have to do better, especially when you have people you're responsible for, like kids, or you know you have people who need you to take care of them. So you have to think before you act. But sometimes I'll be like, you just want to just really jack people up, mess them up. But I say all of that because every day as an adult, it's not easy to make the right decision. It's not easy. Joshua says later I'm going to the supermarket. Okay, Joshua. That sounds awesome. Um, I know for me, it's hard for me to not want to go off on people, or do things to people, but I know what it was like pre getting therapy. And I say that very freely, that I went through therapy because of so much issues that I had in my upbringing. And personally, I don't think I didn't grow up in the worst situation. I had I came from a two-parent household, and it was a pretty stable environment. But when you are around people who have this narrow-minded thinking of it's their way or the highway, and anybody who grew up back in the day where children were seen and not heard, it was like it was tough to be a child back in the day, because there were no you being able to open up and to talk about how you're feeling, what you're going through. Feelings didn't matter. As a child, it was just like, what do you have to say? You don't have any opinion because you don't pay any bills. And I'm so glad that now mental health in children is being recognized and above so many other things, that just because a person is a child, it doesn't mean a child doesn't have feelings. And the children are the future. So when you mess up a child, most of the time you mess up that person for the rest of their life. Hey Blaze, how are you doing? Welcome. Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings to everyone in the house. Hope today was a good one for everyone. Wow, this is funny. I literally just went through this today, trying to stay encouraged. Yes. Um, and I wanted to cover this because there's so often like this. I talk about that on my other channel as well, about motivation and being encouraged and being positive. But I want to talk about from the side of staying encouraged. It's one thing to be doing the things that you need to do, of course. Keep your mind positive, have a positive outlook, surround yourself with positive people. But as an adult, there's so much things that happen to us on a day-to-day basis, and we're overwhelmed. I know I get overwhelmed by bills and being responsible, much less to deal with the people that are around you that like literally aggravate you and drive you crazy. Sometimes people don't know what they're doing, but I think sometimes people do things to irritate you because they're on that sort of time. They're so upset about their life, and not working on themselves. And I know what that's like because I've been in that space before, when I was so angry pre therapy. I was mad, angry at the world. I was the definition of an angry Black woman, because when certain things happen to us, and then you turn into an adult, and you were taught to never talk about how you feel, hide your feelings, don't cry, don't talk about certain stuff. Everything was hush, hidden. It's a secret. And you're always supposed to walk around with a smile on your face when you got a lot of unresolved issues. You got skeletons in your closet. You didn't learn about proper communication and so much things that happened to us. Um, like I said, I'm only talking from my personal perspective. I know everybody is not the same, but I know from growing up until I'm probably 22 years old was the first time in my life where I had to start making a decision. Like, you can't be mad at the world because of what happened to you forever. You need to do something about it. And that was one of the reasons why I went into therapy and started working on me, because regardless of what other people do to us, regardless of how other people show up, it's our responsibility as grown women and grown men to shift what we don't like, to change it. Okay, yeah, I'm not going to lie. We go through traumatic things, and people say and do things to us that's really messed up. It can cause you a lot of pain, a lot of anger. I have been there and done all of that. But then you have to ask yourself, how long am I going to be angry? You know? You know what I mean? How long are you going to be angry? Hi, Miss Betty. Welcome. Happy Thursday. I had to ask myself this. How long am I going to be angry? Because we all go through stuff, not in the same ways. Some people go through abusive situations where it's verbal abuse, emotional abuse, sexual abuse. It's just a lot of things, financial abuse, abandonment. There's a lot of things that can give you a lot of issues going into your adulthood. And I believe that that is the reason why so many people, they go from being a child to an adult, and then they just jump into relationships to try to fill in the voids of everything that they didn't get from their childhood. And I had to stop putting band-aids on things. And it's the reason why I believe, my personal opinion, not anybody else's, my personal opinion, I think that people cover up their pain through vices, drinking, drugs, promiscuity. It's a lot of things, or, buying a lot of things. People do things to cover up everything that they're feeling inside, because it takes a lot of courage to say, this is what happened to me. And that's what I had to do. I had to stop blaming my past and stand in my present and say, this, and this happened to me. And it was messed up. And I don't want to be angry anymore. And I'm not going to blame anybody for what other people did. I am in charge of today. And that's an easy thing to say, because people will just say, like, oh, get over it, right? That's something that most of the time, you know we have to do our best to be happy. And that's what I want to say to everybody. Do your best to be happy. If you want to be happy, you should be. And if you don't know how to be, seek help. That's what I've always said, that, to each his or her own. I think everybody finds their path and their journey to happiness, to peace, to joy, to fulfillment in their own way. Hi, math teacher. How are you doing? I'm in math tech. Um, Everybody finds their own road and their own path to joy. But my question is, how do you find the way to get to encouragement? Because the problems don't stop, irritation don't stop. And as we get older, then it gets health issues. There's financial, like trying to balance the day to day, making ends meet, doing the things that you need to do if you have children, blah blah blah. It's like so much things get mounted on our plate as an adult, and we're so busy trying to survive in our present that we have a lot of unresolved issues and anger issues, and so much stuff that we don't even realize that a lot of times that we are affecting our children. You're affecting your romantic relationship, friendships, job performance, just how you feel about yourself based on your past. And I said to myself that one day, like, why am I so angry? Because, like, I really had like a very bad moment, like, and completely spazzed out, screaming, angry. And this person really didn't do anything. But, when you have a lot of pent up anger, it's only a matter of time before one day you're just going to blow a gasket and you're going to overflow, just like that. A volcano, when it has an eruption, you will blow up. But I digress. I say all of this to get to the space of saying, for me, I couldn't keep myself encouraged until I learned the reasons why I get discouraged. That was that was a really big deal for me, is like allowing myself to be transparent enough. Most people are not transparent with themselves to say, I'm very unhappy. Actually, I'm miserable, or I'm very sad, or whatever. When someone abandoned you, disrespected you, was not there for you, that really affected me. Andrew says from 20 to 30. I think you mean percent. All over the world, people are suffering, trying to find a purpose. Yeah, it's tough. I'm telling you, it's a difficult thing. Trying to find your way, trying to navigate this life, and nothing really prepares you, because I've said this over and over again. You go to school, and school prepares you to get a job. It does not prepare you to be mentally healthy. It does not help you to be able to, learn how to be a better communicator, how to handle money. It does not really give you life skills. You have to work on your own self, and that is some real talk, that the majority of adults don't want to go into those things. And I'm not going to lie to y'all, I did not want to go into those painful things. Like, who wants to talk about when someone abandoned you or disrespected you, cheated on you, called you all kinds of names, hurt you, blah blah blah. The list goes on, because there's so much traumatic things that happen to us, especially losing people that we love, and the things that maybe you saw that maybe you should not have saw, or the way you were treated, you should never have been treated that way. So it's a lot of things that pile up until the time of your adulthood. So for me, my encouragement lies in, I took 7 years of my life, and I went in therapy, and I one by one went back and started talking about the things that really hurt me. And it may sound weird, it may sound strange. Like some people say, get over it. But how are you supposed to get over things if you never give yourself the permission to face it? Like, go straight at it and just say, this is it. Put the cards on the table. The majority of people are not going to be transparent enough to say, this happened, and it messed me up. It made me sad. It discouraged me. And why I wanted to say this is because if we never talk about what hurt us, what saddened us, what disappointed us, we'll never understand why we make the decisions that we make as adults. I don't care what nobody has to say. I know for sure that it's the reason why I selected certain friendships, got into certain work, because of the issues and the things that I did. So I wanted to kind of, go back and try to shift my future because of my past. If you guys can go along with me on this tangent, but I had to say that. I want to say that to everybody who is listening. For anybody who got abandoned, was disrespected, was not shown love, people who stab you in the back, people who are supposed to support you and they don't. I know it hurts, or you just feel sad, or you just can't lift the weight of depression, because it's a real thing. They say that so many people in this world are going through depression right now. And there are it's the depression to where they can't leave the house. And then there's the functional depression, because I've had both. I've had the functional depression, and I've had the depression where, you don't leave the house for months. Belay says, absolutely agree. It's paramount to take good care of your mental and your temple. I had to learn this the hard way, and trust me, I learned my lesson. I'm glad you learned your lesson, Blaze, because a lot of people don't ever learn that lesson. It's one of those things where people push all of everything. They throw everything. It's another skeleton, just throw it in the closet, and things just keep mounting. And that's how it was for me. Everything just keeps mounting. Oh, I don't want to deal with it. Oh, I don't want to talk about it. How many people that when something traumatic or major happens to them in their life, oh, they don't want to talk about it. But then, whether you know it or not, you do something to cover that up and put a void so that you can, continue on living, because we're human, and it's not normal, some of the things that we face as human beings. Hey, Wellness, how are you doing? Welcome in. Happy Thursday. Appreciate you being here. Blaze says, therapy and prayer has helped me out a lot. I was able to get into a space where I was comfortable enough to unpack and to get to the root cause of why I felt so angry and broken. And I, the crazy part about therapy for me, I went to therapy because I was trying to help somebody else. And in the process of helping somebody else, I started to say, you know what? I do this, and how come I can't function and do that? Because you can have some things that can be debilitating, like a lot of traumatic things that trigger you, and you may have anxiety about certain things, and you don't even know that it's because of it's a direct correlation to what your mother or your father, your siblings, your ex. It's a direct link to why you have this problem, because of what someone else did. And I have to say that it takes a lot of courage to stand up and to say, I'm not going to run from this anymore. I'm not going to hide it. I'm not going to lie about it. And I'm not going to say I'm okay, because this is what most people do. They lie to other people, walk around smiling, and they are miserable. They're sad. They're angry. And I do get why people can be angry as an adult, because you can't really choose the deck of cards that you receive. You can't help, the family that you're born into. You cannot help those things. Some things just happen to us, and it's really messed up. But then it's, what do you do with your life after those cards are on the table? Not letting the anger and the, what other people did and said to affect us to that degree on a continuous basis. Hi, Douglas, how are you doing? Welcome. Happy Thursday. And that is something that it took me a long time, and like Blaze said, to unpack that. Took me a really long time to unpack it, because I had to start changing my narrative. You know, if somebody said something to you, you were stupid, you were foolish, you were ugly, you're an irritation, I can't stand you, or you were not accepted in a group, or whatever happened, anytime when you got some sort of abandonment, it could be for your childhood, it could be through an ex, it could be through a backstabbing, a friendship, it could be in the workspace, it can be on social media. There's a lot of ways that we get backstabbed, we get abandoned when we should have got supported. And you do have to unpack that, and to say that out loud, and to write it down. This is what happened to me. and I don't like what happened. And then you have to also add to that, what did I accept? What did I allow? And now, how am I going to change that narrative? How am I going to change that to prevent it from happening again? Because that's how we keep ourselves out of this virtual cycle of pain. It's like you people rinse and repeat, and we see it all the time. People keep choosing these horrible relationships. They get into these horrible romantic relationships. They are not good at choosing friendships, and it's all because they have not healed their inside. They have not worked on their inner child. They have not come to the space and place to say, I deserve better. And that's not an easy, it's not easy to get to that space. It took me many years to get to the space that I am now. It took me a long time to get to the space to say I can do some good things. I'm proud of myself. And then even longer to say I love myself and I'm my own best friend. And until you learn how to be your own best friend, you're going to keep choosing other people to fill those voids. And I didn't understand that part, because you'll be looking for friendships, romantic relationship, this person, that person, things, money. There's always going to be something that you are going to need to fill that space, because you don't want to feel that hurt. Or some people, even it's food, they use that food, and they eat their pain, because that's a real thing. When I was in therapy, I learned that part, that you can eat your pain away. And it's the reason why so many people have um, eating disorders. And sometimes it's just not eating disorder, but it's that they do not have a good relationship with food because of what they've seen in their upbringing. And they eat out of comfort. They eat when they're sad, instead of unpacking the emotional impact of what you're dealing with. I had a bad day. I'm going through this and this, and I didn't deserve to get treated that way. Instead of having a conversation with yourself, writing it out, journaling it out, or finding a healthy way to release that negative energy inside of us. So much people will go and pick up food, or they'll pick up alcohol or drugs, or fill it with buying things, um, or having a relationship. Nobody should be, nobody or no thing can fill the void of disrespect, abandonment, and all of the things that we don't deserve as mature men and women. But there's a lot of people who don't understand that part, that um, there's things that you can't change. We cannot change how people show up. We can't change the way people talk and treat themselves. All we can do is make a decision if I'm going to allow that in my life, if I'm going to allow myself to be to take part in that energy, or be around it. Or we are only in control of what we allow. We're not in control of what other people do. We're in control of what we do. When someone shows up or someone does something, we have to make a choice. Am I going to accept that? Am I going to engage with that? Or am I going to cut it off, ignore it, block it? We are stronger than we think. We're stronger than we know. And that is for sure. Yes, you can hide it, you can run from it all you want, but then things will never change. It will never change. And I know that I was in this cycle of pain. Like, I would I would get the really low down times. Like, I had really terrible seasonal depression every time. Like, it would get cold, and I would, like, it really would impact me. And I would go it would really impact me, and I would really go into some very low lows. And I didn't understand that all of that was happening because of all of those issues that happen while I could go and move. But the moment that you sit still and in quiet time and start thinking about it, that is when that depression would start in me. And every single person is different, but I'm just sharing my experience and how it was for me. Thank you so much, Edward. Hey, Sirius, how are you doing? Welcome. Happy Thursday. How was your day? But that's how it was for me. When I was having my lows, when I was spiraling out of control, it was one of the times where I had to start saying to myself, please try again. I had to start saying to myself that it's nothing wrong with feeling sad. It's nothing wrong with feeling how you feel. And I don't know how many, but I hear all the time, men, and I hear ladies talk about this all the time. Oh, I'm good, and they have a smile on their face, but when you know them, you know they're not okay. And I want to say, ladies, gentlemen, stop playing yourself. Stop lying to yourself. It's okay to not be okay, and it's okay to take breaks. It's okay to work on yourself. It's okay to take your time for your mental health so that you can be okay. It's okay to take vacations and to get away. It's okay to cut people off. So it's important. As you get older, you need to be changing how you deal with people. And when you get older, you need to realize that you should have never stayed in my life. You should have never been in my life. You should not have I should not have allowed you to keep a place in my life. And that's a very powerful thing. And that is what has really helped me to stay encouraged. That really has. It's helped me a lot because until I finally realized that I was worth it, that I was enough, and that I was not alone, and that I didn't have to fight my battles alone, and I didn't have to keep lying to myself, because it's definitely what a lot of us do. We lie to ourselves, and I stopped lying to myself. I stopped pretending that people were something that they weren't. And I stopped making excuses for other people. I stopped excusing poor behavior, the ones that has never shown up for me, the ones who always make excuses about how busy they are, how much they don't have the time, how much they don't have the money. I don't make excuses for people anymore. That has helped me so much to keep me encouraged, because I stopped trying to block out the reality. I took off my rose colored glasses and let myself see things for what it was. This is the reality. See, this person doesn't like you. This person hates you. This person is jealous of you. And believe that. And that's important as grown women and grown men, that we have to be not only aware but mature and say, I don't deserve this. I say that to the ladies, I say that to the gentlemen, even some younger people. Maybe if you're my younger audience, my younger gems. I wish when I was younger, somebody would have told me that you don't have to take it. You don't have to be anything other than who you are. And the ones that dig it, they dig it. And the ones that don't, they can go. There's the door, that you can go, you can bounce. But you got to be confident in yourself to know that you deserve more. There's nothing wrong with saying, I deserve more. Hey, Nate, how are you doing? Welcome. Happy Thursday. I hope you're doing great. Um, and that is one of the things that, I honestly had to learn, that I deserve more. And you also as well. I say that to all of you. You deserve more and better than you get. And let's talk about some things of, in dealing with, encouragement. And I just saw that I spelled the word encourage wrong, but I was just trying to rush because when a topic comes to my mind, whatever, but I'll fix it after this live is over. But I just wanted to say this to everybody. What keeps you encouraged? What are some of the things that encourage you? For me, I think about my ancestors. I think about the ones that are no longer here and the things that they taught me. And I focus on the good things because if you fixate your mind on the negatives and what somebody didn't do, you'll you'll never have peace within yourself. I had to come to terms that nobody is perfect. I'm not perfect. Nobody else is. And just take the good and leave the bad. And that will help you to vibrate at at a higher frequency. You really will. Your vibes will be better. You'll feel better. Your mental health will be better. You'll have more peace. There will be joy in your life when you find peace from within, that your peace does not come inside of things and people, that your peace starts with you. That was very important in helping me to be on the road to being myself. And I want to say that to all of my gems all day, every day: be yourself. And yeah, there's going to be people who won't like it. There's going to be people who will hate you, be jealous of you, talk about you. But then at least you'll be aware. At least you'll know, okay, I'll stay away from this person. I can block this person. You know how to make your moves. See, when you lie to yourself, when you make excuses for other people, you stop people from their personal growth and development. And therapy helped me with that so much. We think sometimes by not having conversations, not telling people, when you did this, this is how it made me feel. See, you're not talking, you're not saying anything in anger, you're not screaming, you're not saying you're a bad person. You are talking about a person's actions, and there's no denying the actions. It's what it is. And then they do whatever they want to do with that information. See, you have to inform people of when they hurt you or when they didn't support you. That has really helped me to keep myself encouraged. Hey, realist, how are you doing? Welcome. Happy Thursday. Hope you've had a good day. Thank you for tapping in. Shout out to all of my mods, and they come through for me. I appreciate every single one of you, and to everybody who is in the audience live. So, I did want to say that it took a long time for me to come to this space in my life to where I could say that it's okay to not be okay and to not make excuses for people and their poor behavior, and that I had to learn, if I wanted to be encouraged, I had to do things that encourage me. I had to work on my mindset. I had to work on my mental health. I had to work on keeping myself in a good space and working on body positivity. You have to look at yourself and be happy within yourself. You can't do anything about anybody else. And yeah, just being in that moment and having that time with yourself, that you take care of yourself, the way you eat, the way you talk to yourself. And I say this all the time: it's so important that you speak over yourself and speak over your life. That has been so vital to keeping myself encouraged. It's nobody else's responsibility but ours to encourage ourselves. And I know I used to be in that trap of trying to find my fulfillment inside of everything outside of me, when your joy, your peace, your happiness, and your fulfillment, it starts it starts within. It starts with you. And you have to talk to yourself. You have to speak over your life. You have to tell yourself, I'm enough. I can do great things. And clap for yourself. Be proud of yourself. And also tell yourself when you've come to, the end of the road, like it's time to end this. It's time to cut this off. This is not good for me. This isn't helping me. And I'll tell you, that has been monumental in keeping me encouraged and making me feel good because I no longer lie to myself. I no longer excuse bad behavior, bad treatment. That, I remind myself, I don't have to take this. I deserve better than this. And I say that to all of you, raise your expectations. So much people lower their expectations, or they allow things because if this person wants to stay stagnant, you allow it, right? Mm-mm. It's not gonna happen. Raise the bar, raise the expectations, and not just for other people. Raise your own bar. I had to learn how to become better at communicating how I feel and being honest with myself. Saying things like, "I don't like that. I don't like how I was talked to, how I was treated." You got to be real with yourself. That has helped me to be encouraged and to stay encouraged because I know how I feel. I know when something doesn't feel right. I know when I need to rest. I know when I can't afford something, and I'm not going to feel guilty about it. That's called being a mature adult. You can't do things that is just not, everything is not meant to be for us. And when I came to that space of saying I can't afford things and I'm okay with that, and I don't want to dress like that because that's not me. Being transparent enough to be yourself and to be like, yeah, and be like, no, I'm not going to that. Nope. I don't want to be here. Nope, I'm not going there because I know this person, that person, they always make me feel this small. That is self-love. I already know how it's going to be, and I don't put myself in situations to make myself feel sad, make myself feel insignificant, make myself feel like I have to vie for people's attention. I'm not going to beg people to talk to me, or to support me, or to love me. I don't force things. And that has helped me in my encouragement because I already know I'm a bright light. I already know that I'm worthy. I already know that I'm capable, and that I'm blessed and capable in every way. And if people that come around me can appreciate that and cannot give me back the same energy that I show up with, they don't deserve my time, my energy, none of it. And that has helped me so much to keep me encouraged, that I don't waste my time, that I don't lower my vibration, I don't allow other people's issues to become mine. That helps so much when you get to that space in your womanhood or your manhood that you say, like, you know, I think you're cool and everything, but I do not allow myself to love people more than I love myself. I'm never going back to that space ever again. If somebody can't show up loving themselves first, I'm not gonna hold their hand to say, hey, you should do this for yourself. If you don't already know that, I was like, I'm sorry, I can't, you know, I'm not going to raise a man. I'm not going to raise a woman. Uh, I'm not going to feed people's ego. I'm no. If a person is immature, I'm not going to have to keep fighting and say you're being immature, you're being disrespectful. If you don't know that already about yourself, I'm not going to waste my time. I'm not. I refuse to go backwards. Yeah, that's a bar, Marlene. I think people tend to forget how powerful words actually are. And um, You can very well speak something into existence. Yes, whether it's good or bad. I had to learn that. That was not a thought that was poured into me. It's not something that I learned from my mother, father, siblings, from a romantic relationship. That came from the inside of me when I came into a healed Marlene, a Marlene that loved herself, a Marlene that no, I don't gotta take mess. I don't have to lower my expectations. And if I don't feel like I'm growing in a relationship, because if you're in a relationship, any relationship, whether it's romantic or platonic, and you're not being fed positivity, you're not feeling motivated around them, or they're not, increasing, like, okay, I'm doing this and this, and they're doing, and that's their own thing. It's not that they're doing it because I have to assist them to get to that, because she doesn't do that anymore. I remember years ago when I was very toxic and unhealthy, I was the help mate. I was always the one to help people to meet their goals and expectations. I don't do that anymore. You need to meet your own expectations. You need to raise your own bar. I'm not the one. And a lot of people don't understand that you will be spending all your time, your energy, your money in helping people to to get to certain spaces, and then when they get on wherever they are, then they leave you behind. And so, oh, I did this, and then there's no appreciation, no gratitude. I was like, I'm never doing that again. I don't do that. I can support, I can encourage, mentor others, but I'm not going to be the person that somebody depends on to get them there. I see some more comments here. Blaze says, for me, when I have bad days or if I'm unsure about something, I pray and have a conversation with God first, and then I'll remind myself about the reason why. Yeah, that's a very important perspective. I had to come to the space first, you know, um, I had to come to the space first of getting my mind wrapped around that I didn't need other people. That was the thing for me why I was unhappy so often. It's because I always felt like I needed other people to make me happy. Okay. It was always something. Yeah, you never will be satisfied. If you're not in a relationship, you're going to be unhappy. If you are in a relationship, you're going to wonder how, oh, this relationship is not what I thought it was. I say all that to say this, that if you don't come to the space of coming to the table happy, healed, healthy, doing your own thing, having your own goals, having your own life. See, most people have it wrong and twisted. They are defined by their relationships, and they're only as good as what other people around them are doing. That's a and that just does not work for me. If you are not around somebody and you come together, you have your thing, I have my thing, we support and we encourage each other, but it shouldn't be that one person is the only one growing and elevating and you're all the way down here. See, what it used to be for me is I was always the doormat. I was always the person supporting. I was the foundation for others, but who was the foundation for me? Crickets. There's nobody. So, I talk to people in coaching, and I tell them that all the time. In being a good person, being kind, don't take that as a weakness, because people will. You can't always be available. You can't always support everything, because some things it's not good for you to support, because it's compromising your personal growth and development. It's stopping you from your goals and your focus. It's stopping you from receiving the blessings that you deserve to have. Hey, Kristen, how are you doing? Welcome, welcome. Happy Thursday. Appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. Yes, boundaries are very important. I now have boundaries. I love that. I love that, Kristen, because I know for sure I definitely was not a person to have boundaries. And that really hurt me from being an encouraged person. If you don't set boundaries, other people will make their own. People will have you like a puppet. You'll be a puppet to other people. Hey Liz, how are you doing? Welcome. Happy Thursday. Hope you're doing great. You will be a puppet to everybody. Everybody will play you. Everybody will use you and abuse you. And I know that that used to be the thing for me. I always used to come last. It's a very sad and lonely place to be at the bottom of the totem pole, right? You're always last on the list. You the you don't even get to be on the list sometimes because you're so busy doing for everybody that you know that you don't have anybody saying, "Hey, what about you? When did you do this and this? Like, are you happy? Are you good? Do you need something?" And that was something that I had to learn to start fighting for myself. I had to put myself on the table. I had to take care of my mental health. I had to have my own personal goals. I had to convince myself that it was okay to have time by myself with no phones on, have my own personal vacation, and have my own goals, have my own life, have my own friends outside of everybody that I know. That it doesn't have to be a friend because of who you're with in a relationship because they like or whatever. I'm not even on that sort of time anymore. It doesn't matter what other people want for me. It's what do I want for myself, and what road has God put me on? What path has He laid before me so that I could be my best. And I think that is ultimately when I started elevating and growing and becoming empowered like I am today. When I learned that while you have people in your life that you care about and you love, you can't love them more than you love yourself. I had to learn to fill up my own cup first, because if you don't put on your own oxygen mask, if you don't choose yourself, if you don't take care of yourself, if you don't set expectations and set boundaries and start telling people no, you will never become encouraged, much less stay encouraged. And that's a very powerful thing when you come into that space of saying no and meaning it and not apologizing. No, I'm not going to apologize. No, I'm not going to tell you why. It's no because it's no, because I'm not going to do it. And that's all there is to it. You have to get to that space of not explaining why you love yourself. And that's ultimately what encouragement is linked in. That's the foundation of encouragement. You cannot be encouraged if you are not in a space of self love, if you are not in a space of peace, if you have never learned to choose yourself. And from my upbringing, I always was taught that it was about everybody, that you're supposed to serve others and support others. And I do believe that to an extent, but not to the extent to where I stopped taking care of myself like how I used to. It's like I don't even remember like when I used to buy something nice for myself. I used to feel guilty, like, oh, spend money on myself, or everybody around you will be looking so good, and then you'll be wearing the same things over and over again, or you stop caring for yourself with your personal care, or you stop doing things that you enjoy. And for me, mine was getting in the gym, and I put that on the back burner for so many years because I was so busy caring for everybody. And then I looked at myself one day and be like, what happened to you, girl? You got out of shape. You stopped taking care of yourself. But you got to get back to that space. I think everybody gets off track sometimes because of life and adulting. But the best way to encourage yourself is to look at yourself and make a groundwork, have a set of rules about how you will treat yourself and the things that you do for yourself, like getting whatever you, making sure you're eating on a regular basis, healthy food, you're drinking your water, you have activities that you do. You have things that make you feel fulfilled, not just your fulfillment lying in your kids or your romantic relationship or how much money you make or where you live, but having your own things that you do that will pour back into you. And for me, it's nothing like taking part in some humanitarian things, giving back to the community, helping kids, special needs, the elderly, homeless, whatever it is that is some, you got to have some mission. There has to be something that you get involved that gives you purpose, and the purpose is what keeps me encouraged every time when I think about the things that I wish that I had when I was younger. That is how I keep myself encouraged, by empowering the next generation, supporting the elderly, supporting the special needs, and agencies of domestic violence for women and for men, because yes, it happens in both genders. Women get in DV situations, and so do men. But I said all of that to come to this. It is possible to stay encouraged. It is possible, but we have to make wise choices. We have to know ourselves. We have to make sure we tap in and ask ourselves some questions like, are you okay? And it may sound crazy to some people, but it's the truth. You have to have conversations with yourself. How am I treating myself? Am I getting adequate rest? Are the people in my life, are these good people, or am I just telling myself this is a good person because of I want to not be lonely, or because I want support, or because I'm trying to you know be around them. We make so much sacrifices in life sometimes, trying to please other people, but in the process of that we lose ourselves, and that's just not good enough. We all are bright beams of light, but how we show up, how bright our light continues to be, is all up to us. If you want to be a bright light, if you want to be encouraged, you have to stop dimming your light. You have to look at the things that poke holes in your life. Like, what are the things that drain you? What are the things that is toxic? And then identify them. And when you identify them, you'll find out what to stay away from. And then you got to find things that give you purpose and make you feel valuable and feel supported, and get into that, and go ghost on people, go silent, and be unapologetic about it. I'm not going to apologize because I spend time on me, for me. to fill up my cup so that I can be my best and be happy. I think once you recognize what makes you happy, what gives you purpose, how much you love yourself, how much you're worth it, and that you deserve to get every single thing that you want in this life. But it's all up to us, and it's up to us to make those decisions. So choose yourself. To all of my gems, make sure you're choosing yourself. Choose to love yourself. Be your own best friend. Make wise decisions, and don't let people run over you. That's what it is in a nutshell. So I hope something that I said in here has, been something to help, to heal, to get you to pause and to think for a little while about, am I being balanced in how I'm treating myself? And what do I need to work on? Write those things down and then take things one thing at a time. Work on communicating with yourself, work on spending time with yourself, work on how you love and friend yourself, work on your mental health, and then work on applying that to other people because you love yourself, because you're worth it. There's certain things I'm not going to do anymore, and then cut it off and be unapologetic. I'm not going to be doing everything for everyone. That's a no no. You need to do that for yourself and mean it. Stand 10 toes down on it. Don't let people try to make you feel guilty because you love yourself. Don't make you feel guilty because you make good choices and because you recognize their manipulation tactics or their poor behavior. You don't have to take it. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to the show today. I appreciate all of my Gems family. And if you're new here to Life with Marlene, I am your Florida vlogger, also life coach, motivational speaker, esthetician. I'm a woman of many talents. I am very blessed and grateful. Thank you all for your support. I really do appreciate every single one of you. I hope that you are feeling loved, you love yourself, respect yourself, and you keep yourself encouraged because you deserve to stay in that empowered state every day of your life. I'll see you guys on the next one. Hopefully, tomorrow we will be tapping back in. See you guys on the next one. Have a great rest of your evening, everybody.